Oh my god, I look like this all day. Hey everybody, Purple Photographer here and welcome back to my channel. So I've been in and out of university this week and I've seen quite a lot of people that look like they're coming in for their interviews, and I realise that it's around about this time of year when a lot of people do start having their interviews for university. So I remember I had pretty much nearly all my interviews around about March time. I know that sounds really late, but I thought that was kind of the standard of when my UCAS applications started coming through, and I got to start getting invitations to interviews around the end of January, February. So I can understand why a lot of people come in for their interviews now. So I thought that for those of you that haven't had your interview yet or are thinking about going to university next year, it'd be a really good idea just to give you some tips on how to prepare yourself for your interview. So that's why this week I decided to do my top 10 tips for getting ready for your uni interview. Now, I feel these tips may apply more if you're heading off to Arts University, but even if you go in for a normal course, they can still come in handy, as there are a few that are applied to both. So with that, here they are. So number one, which I think is a good starting point, is bring moral support. Now, when I was attending all my interviews, I remember I applied to 5 different universities, 4 of which I got asked to come in for an interview, and 1 just never applied. So my dad attended most of them with me, and my mum actually came down to Bournemouth with me when I had my interview at the Arts University in Bournemouth, which is where I am now. So having them there really helped calm my nerves more, really. So just the advice is bring a parent, bring a friend, close relative, just to keep you company, because you're in more than likely you're in an entirely different part of the country, maybe in a different country, and just having them there, because you don't know anybody else, so just having them there really make you feel more calm and collected, and may help the interview process go better. So top tip number 2 is to actually have a mock interview with someone who is actually qualified to give you a mock interview. So don't just have an interview with your parent or someone like that. Maybe have a mock interview with one of your college tutors or school teachers, as this could really help if they give you relevant questions that you might be asked on the actual interview, and going through what you brought into the interview. So once you've actually gone through this process, it can really help prepare you for the real thing. So if you have the so this is what I did with one of my college tutors. He gave me just a couple of test questions, what I could have been asked for when I'm in real interviews, which I think really helped, and just that one prepared me for all 4 of mine. So yeah, it was actually pretty good. What did I have for interviews? I can't remember. Anyway, which brings me on to number 3. Have a varied portfolio. So what I mean by this is, don't just have one kind of thing in your portfolio. So this applies most of if you're going for an interview at an arts university. Like I said, this applies more to you. So when you take in your interview, say for example you've got a photography portfolio, don't just have pictures of your friends, different kinds of portraits. Try a little bit of still life, experimental work, landscapes, just so that the teacher that's interviewing you can see that you have a range of skills and you're not just a one-trick pony. So this can really help in the selection process, as they can see what you can and can't do, and then that can help once you actually get accepted onto the course. That can help pick your speciality later on down the road. Which brings me on to number 4. So if you bring in your portfolio and it's literally just a scrapbook full of really shoddy looking paper, you're just going to get asked to leave straight away. So that is why top tip number 4 is quality is really important. So especially for a photography portfolio, you need to print on really, really good paper. I know it sounds ridiculous, like most people think photography paper is the same, but it's not. The quality, you can totally tell from the quality, and the universities can as well. This is especially what they look out for in your portfolio sleeve. So if they just see that you've printed out on some £2 pound shop paper from an inkjet printer, then they're not going to be that impressed. Even if your work is, you could be the next best artist in the world, then they're just going to turn you away if you have a really shit looking portfolio. So with that being said, that brings me on to top tip number 5. Only put in your best work. So quality over quantity. And I know this sounds ridiculous as well, but only put in work agreed by you and your teachers which best show your strengths. So if you really like an image, or it's one of your best drawings you've ever done, then put it in there. As long as your teacher thinks so as well, because they can look out for details which university tutors might do as well. So they can pick out certain details of they know what your strengths are. So get help when be very selective over what you put inside your portfolio. I know I had to be, because some of my work I really liked, my tutors didn't really think so, and they helped pick out pieces which they thought best represented my style, which in the end I totally agreed with. So even though you might disagree with what your tutors are saying, they might know a bit better than you do about what your best qualities are, and can really help you move forward in the interview process when you go to university. So top tip number 6 is, like I mentioned earlier, you have to be prepared to answer questions on your portfolio that's related to your work. So I remember I had a lot of self-portraiture in my portfolio, as it was some of my strongest work at the time. And the interviewer asked me, "Oh, so why did you do this particular pose?" And so I explained, I just explained the concept behind the image, which was easy. It's a really easy enough question, but it might not just be stuff that's related to your work, it could be personal questions as well. So with me being from Yorkshire, that's 240 miles away. So it's why do you want to move so far away? And I just explained that I just answered truthfully. I saw your course at the UCAS Fair in Manchester, and it really struck me as one of the best arts universities in the country, which, truth in the matter, I just really wanted to get as far away from home as possible. But yeah, guys, in all seriousness, be prepared to answer questions like that, as they will crop up in your interview. Which brings me on to number 7, is don't worry what everyone else has in their portfolio. So I went to one particular interview where it wasn't just a one-to-one, whereas all my other ones had been. It was kind of a group thing where people got all their portfolios out, and other people started looking through them, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I feel like my work is really bad now. And probably everyone else was thinking the exact same thing, but in reality, it doesn't really matter what everyone else has in their portfolio. That is their work, not yours. You should feel confident about what you have in your portfolio, which is why it's important to put your best work in there, which you feel confident about. Don't worry what everyone else has in theirs, as that's their work that they feel confident about and is really good to them. But that's why you have the portfolio, because it highlights all of your strengths. So you're walking around thinking, oh my god, everyone else has such better work than me. They're probably thinking the exact same thing about yours. So don't worry about it. Just enjoy what you've got in yours. So number 8 is don't be afraid to ask questions during the interview. So as well as the tutor asking you questions about your work, don't be afraid to ask questions about the course during the course of the interview. This is totally acceptable, and most of the time the tutor will just politely answer back. And they like you asking questions because it means that you're more engaged and interested in the course. So definitely ask questions while you're there. Which brings me on to number 9, is just have fun. So although you might be feeling nervous, and probably everyone else is around you as well, like, you have to remember is you're all on the same boat. Don't go thinking of someone else is more likely to get on the course than you, because that's just not the case. And just have fun during the interview. You know, just enjoy yourself, and don't let the interviewer think you're too nervous, because if you come across as really timid, then they're just going to think that's your personality, and they're less likely to set you on. Because if you're moving like I did, like halfway across the country, then they're just going to think you're kidding yourself, because you're just not comfortable with the fact that and you're not comfortable with your work either. So don't come across as try not to come across as too nervous, because that can be a little bit intimidating to the other party as well. So it's really important to enjoy yourself during the interview as well, although it seems really hard to do that. Which finally brings me on to number 10, just be yourself. If you're, like I said, try and enjoy yourself. If you have a really bubbly personality, then just be yourself. Don't even dress differently, because most college and most university interviews don't really care what you wear. I mean, I thought like every job interview I've ever had, I've worn kind of like a suit kind of thing. So I thought, oh, interview, smart wear. So I sort of did half and half. And my style's kind of smart casual anyway, so I just wore a pair of jeans and a blazer, and no one batted an eyelid. Like, some people went in overalls and tracksuit bottoms, for God's sake. So yeah, don't be somebody that you're not. Just be yourself and be enthusiastic about what you do, and then the interviewer will see that you're really passionate about your field of subject. So yeah, that's it really. Just be yourself. So that's it, guys. Those are my top 10 tips for preparing for your university interview. And remember, just enjoy yourself and be you. Those are probably the most important too. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked this video and want to see more content like this, then be sure to let me know by giving this video a big thumbs up. And if you want to be first in checking out next week's video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with that, I will see you next week. Bye!